Welcome to Home's Room. Just like Homeroom, we start off our day getting together with our homies, swapping stories, even a little kiss and tell action. This podcast contains language not suitable for younger listeners, topics about sex and mental health. Discretion is advised. Our views are our own. Let class begin. Welcome to Home's Room. Today we are joined by one of the kindest and most sweet humans I've ever had the privilege to get to know. I'm so glad that I got talked into doing this one. And yes, I kind of got talked into it because I was like, no, they'd never want to do this. This is so weird. But I'm joined by Abby. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
So today we're going to talk a little bit about body positivity and just learning to love yourself as, as best you can, because, every day is a new journey. Would you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely. Quite a journey.
Good. First, this question comes directly from Courtney, who talked me into doing this. So
okay.
I gave her the grounds for the question. So she wanted to know what started you on your body positivity journey.
Yes.
Was it just waking up and thinking one day I want to change, or was it something that like pushed you towards it, or how'd that happen?
So for me, it was honestly gaining weight kind of pushed me towards that, because for the longest time, my whole life, I didn't really love myself no matter what size I was. And I was like really skinny, and then I was really overweight. And so I think honestly gaining weight was what caused me to be like, what's wrong here? What do I need to do to change my mindset to feel better? And not just about like my body, but just about like myself in general. And so I think honestly gaining weight is really what caused me to be like, take a look at myself, be like, okay, what do I need to work on? And then I think the first thing I did to help myself in that situation, honestly, was like following a bunch of like fat models, plus size models, and fat activists on Instagram. I don't know why that was so helpful to me, but that was really what my outlet was at that point. So
yeah. Representation is definitely a big thing. Like, as a light-skinned dude, I don't get a lot of representation in a lot of things, because either you got to be, dark, or you got to be like mixed. And I don't got mixed hair. I don't got mixed features. My eyes aren't light. So I just fall in this like gray area. Representation.
Representation. Absolutely.
Yep.
Important.
So, what did you find out about yourself in that, like in making that change? Like, was there something you learned specifically?
Yeah, I think, so my biggest fear with gaining weight and being fat was that I wouldn't be desired. That was like my biggest thing, because I just felt like I wasn't going to be attractive to anybody. And it was just kind of realizing, like, first of all, like, somebody's going to find you attractive. Anybody can find you attractive, you know what I mean, and desirable. But also, like, do I desire myself? You know what I mean? Like, like it was more about self-reflection. Like, okay, well, it doesn't matter if I'm desirable to other people, because I do love me. So,
yeah, absolutely. That's one of those things. Like, when I knew you, I used to cover for you so you could go to the bathroom, because you were hydrating, because you were going to hit the gym. And I was like, man, this person is out here like drinking like a whole full gallon of water in like a 4-hour time span. I don't understand.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So it was like,
such a different time.
Yeah. And, then your dedication to yourself then was like, still something to be admired. And now your dedication to yourself is like on a whole nother level, where you're like mentally trying to be there. You're happy with, who you are. One of the things that like I noticed in your social media was like how much more genuine your smile looked.
Oh my gosh.
Everything. And
that's so
that
sweet.
made me happy.
I love that. And I feel like I definitely did feel a difference throughout those years. Because even when you knew me way back then, I was still so insecure and had the most terrible body dysmorphia and all that stuff, even though, because you'd think that going to the gym, being this way would fix all that, but it just doesn't. So,
I would have never known that, you had body dysmorphia, because like,
Right?
like that, I
Yeah.
wouldn't have thought about it, as I said, dedicated to like getting ready to go to the gym and all that as
Yeah.
you were, like, and I think that just goes to show that even people that are hitting the gym up and, about that like gym life grind are
Yes.
still having, struggles, and maybe
Exactly.
don't be so hard on them
Yep,
about going to the
exactly.
gym.
I agree.
Maybe. Yeah.
Exactly. And I honestly, like, I love talking about this too because I've literally seen both sides of it. I've been
Mhm.
super, super skinny and working out all the time. And then I've been like very fat, very overweight. And so it's just like, I like to, I like to talk about it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, is like that's what I want to bring to the world as far as this podcast goes,
Yeah.
is just, anybody that listens to feel seen, but
Yeah.
just to give people a voice that like don't necessarily get a voice. And I
Exactly.
think that everybody has an extraordinary story. You
Yes.
just have to ask them about it.
I love
And,
that.
I tend to like gravitate towards people that are open regardless, because like at the end of the day, if I don't know you and I can't ask you a question, and I don't feel comfortable talking to you,
Yep.
like why am I here?
Why
I
am I
want
trying?
to,
Yeah, exactly. Why am I
yeah,
trying? Like,
yeah. And
absolutely.
I think, like I said, you and I always kind of had that, like I could come up and mess with you and,
Always.
just talk for a second and then,
Yes.
go on about our business.
It was
So
always my
I,
favorite. Yeah. It
good
was always so
that
sweet.
I always I try and be like a decent person
Yes.
before
Go for it.
everything else. So like as long as you're a decent human being, I think everything is good. And
I agree.
I gravitate towards people like that, like I
Yep.
said, that are just like good people. And
Yes.
for you, that's definitely what it is.
Ah, thank you so much.
So with all the changes you've gone through, is there anything that you like still struggle with?
Yes, yeah. Even after all that and like finding people who look like me and just finding that body positivity for myself, there are still days where I will feel very subconscious about certain aspects of myself. I think the difference is just that I have like the tools to be like, okay, you know what? My body is like my least important thing about me. It doesn't matter. Like, it's just what I'm here. It's just my vessel. It's just what I survive in. So on those days when I'm not feeling too great, that's kind of where my mind goes. So, but yeah, I mean, I feel like everybody still has their subconscious moments. So do I.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's one of those. That's a hard one. And, you
Hard.
know, everybody, like you said, everybody has them. And
Yep.
I think that, when it comes to anybody struggling with, a body image issue
Yeah.
one way or the other, knowing that what they're dealing with, they're not alone. They're not the only
Not
one.
alone.
And, nowadays it's like, people, body hair is like becoming less of a thing,
Yes. We
which
love that.
I like. I'm personally like, I'm sorry, but I'm one of those people that I don't care if you like, you literally have hair to keep yourself warm.
Yes.
That's the way it was
That's
intended.
just
So
the
if you
way it
decide to
is.
shave it,
It
cool.
grows
If you
there.
decide not
Yeah.
to, yeah,
There you
don't
go.
don't I don't care. It doesn't make a
Yep.
difference to me.
Yes.
Like that's just what it is. I grow
Yep.
terrible facial hair, so I try not to grow facial
Well,
hair because
there you go.
it just doesn't work. So,
There you
but
go. I think
don't pick on me.
yeah, I won't, and we won't.
No, exactly.
I think also like the words I would use, like even just in my head describing myself or how I felt, it was not as like mean. Like I feel
Hmm.
like I would just used to internalize the fact that I was ugly or that I was, and I would call myself fat, but like the fact that like fat is not a bad word. It's just a
Hmm.
fact, and it's just what people are. So I
Yeah.
think my words describing myself, even when I am feeling very subconscious about certain things, it's like, okay, well, how about I just wear something loose today? How about I just, like, how am I feeling?
Hmm.
What do I want to, how do I want to dress this today if I'm not really feeling it? Instead of
Well, that's
talking down.
Yeah, that's really interesting because, I see your fits pretty often, and I think that you always look good no matter what you're
Thank
in.
you so
And I'm
much.
always like, man, I don't know where you be finding these things that like just fit you so perfectly, because
Oh my
like
gosh.
legit, it's a thing.
That's so sweet. I really just thrift everything. So I don't know. I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
just good at
those are
finding
some
sizes.
questions coming up.
Oh,
I
cool,
got some
cool.
questions about that because I want to know. But
Yes.
uh, if there was anything that you'd say to people that may be going through something similar, struggling with self-image in
Yeah.
any kind of way, what kind of advice would you give to them to just like lift them up?
I think like always just remembering you're not alone. I think that
Yeah.
really helped me. I didn't have a lot of fat people around me to kind of be like a community for me, but I feel like reaching out on like social media, finding more people that look like me, that was really my outlet to see more people like me. So honestly, just like getting out there, like seeing that there are beautiful people out there who are fat,
Hmm.
you know? So
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest thing. It is just very hard if you don't kind of have a community that already like has people that look like that. But honestly, yeah, you're not alone. There's everybody's struggling with something sort of like that. It's
Yeah.
not all similar, but it we've all got something we're struggling with. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think, like you said, following people on Instagram, that's one of those like double-edged swords. And I really wish people would realize like you can curate what you see.
Yes,
You
you
don't have to
can.
follow those people that make you sad, that make you feel bad about
Exactly.
yourself.
Yep.
Follow people who maybe they don't look like you, but their message is positive.
Yes. That's
One
so
of my
important
favorite
too.
Yeah, one of my favorite people to follow as far as like body positivity goes
Yeah.
is I think her handle is the cuddly antelope or something like that.
Okay.
She's a model, she's a
I
mom,
love that.
she does so many things,
Yeah.
but like she is out here like spreading the word about like all bodies are good bodies. And I think
Yes.
that it's more than just saying those words to mean that. It's flat out like you have to just believe it. And
Yes. You do.
so much of what I see her and her partner do is
Yeah.
amazing. They do photo shoots for people. They're like amazing photographers. So
I
like
love that.
like boudoir stuff, they do
Yes.
that, but they
I love
also just do
boudoir.
like really good like candid shots of themselves.
Yeah.
And they are living a life that's like, I'm this and I'm happy.
And I'm
And
happy.
that means more to them than anything else. And I,
Yep.
I agree with that.
I love that. That's
um
amazing.
so like we have different but similar experiences with body image. Like
Yep.
I get comments about being too small, and
Right.
needing to go eat a sandwich or something. Those stupid comments I get all the time. And as a dude, there's almost always like the stigma that I'm supposed to be like, 190 pounds of muscle and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm not good enough because I'm not that. And that's the thing that I struggle with. I love my body, and I've gotten to the point where like, I know what my body can do. I know what my body has done for me. And I'm happy that I had, you know, the body that I have. Cause
Yes.
even though I'm smaller, it still does a lot of stuff for me.
Yes.
So like, that's something that I had to learn,
No, so
what I love about me. And that, like you said, like I find looking at myself
yeah.
as a good thing. So what's the biggest lesson that like you've learned on that journey
Yeah. Um, learned on my journey of
of like finding yourself?
finding myself. Oh man. I feel like the lessons keep coming.
Good.
Like I think like I feel like one year I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm feeling good, and then the next thing it's like gender identity crisis, and then it's like my sexuality, and I'm like, what is
Yeah.
going on? It's like I can't catch a break. Honestly, overall, I think I just became a very much more secure person. And in the long run of just mostly, having to build up my own self confidence that I never had from somebody else. So
Yeah.
I think just really actually being able to be secure in myself and my body.
Yeah. So when you like kind of started on this, like, I don't want to say transition, but like
Yeah.
this like pivot in your life, was it, finding yourself kind of on your own more and being open to like experiencing things? Like I know that can sometimes be like that kickoff where like you're like, oh wow, I'm me now.
Yeah.
What do I want?
Yes. Yeah. I think it was definitely like that for me. I eventually like got a good little community and had a few fat friends that were activists that really helped me out as well. Um, but I think really at the beginning it was just me. And I was the only person who was fat in my family. So it was just really hard to relate to them at that point too. And they're like the closest people to me. And
Hmm.
so it was kind of a hard moment where Like I couldn't even share clothes with my siblings anymore. And it was just kind of like, it was just a little, yeah, it was a little bit of an identity crisis. And
Mm-hmm.
it did take me a while to just accept it. But sorry, I forgot the last part of that question you asked me.
I was just asking what, what something that like, what did you, what's the thing that you learned, like the most important thing, but like you kind of,
Okay. It's like going down a rabbit
well,
hole.
no, you're good. Like you went there, like you learn, that essentially that you're different and,
Yeah,
like you came to accept it. And I
yeah,
think that, that's like the root of it all.
absolutely.
Um, so one of those things about body positivity that I'm kind of like keen on is, you have to be body positive for people that are a little bit bigger, but you also have to be body positive for people that are a little bit smaller.
Yes.
And, I'm starting to see like girls and models getting skinny shamed. And I like
Yeah.
that to me is also not okay.
Yeah.
So like, when you look at places and social media accounts and things like that,
Hmm.
are there places that you would recommend people go look for to get positive messages?
Yeah, I think honestly, like I don't know their names off the top of my head. I could definitely like get on my Instagram and say, but there are just a lot of like fat black activists that I follow that I'm just like, they know the truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think, oh man, I should have gotten a little list of them together because I would love to share them. But I know like Kendra, I don't know her like at name. She's
Yeah.
amazing. Um, very like huge following. I'm following a lot of like queer couples at the moment too that are fat and
Mm-hmm.
activists. Um, but I'm sorry, I don't know their handlers at the
No, you're good. We can always link that. You can just send it to me and we'll link it in the show notes.
like I
So
have so many that would be so helpful, and I literally follow them to this day, and they're still so helpful. And something too is like they actually like I'll dress however you want, but I feel like a lot of the ones that I follow dress the same kind of way I dress, which gives me confidence in the way I dress. You know?
yeah.
So
Um, that's one of those big things too. I know
yeah,
for me, like when I was younger, I was wearing, like the standard like teenage black kid stuff, oversized t-shirts,
sure,
oversized like, baggy jeans.
right.
And then I think I turned maybe 23, 24 or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a size medium shirt
Like
and a size small shirt
switch it up
and
a
just
bit.
like, yeah,
I love
yep.
it.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing is like, I it's all of those little things. Like I changed my style. I changed what I was wearing and how stuff fits. And now, I wear a lot of like tactical styled
Yeah.
pants and, t-shirts that fit. And I feel better. I feel like I look better.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, back to the skinny shaming, because I had a point about that I just had forgotten.
Oh yeah.
But that is very valid too. Like that happens a lot, and it's just like I don't know why people can't shut up about other people's bodies. I'm like, let's just leave people alone, you know? Because I do
Hmm.
understand I do understand the difference. Like fat people, they are socially not acceptable, and they are really looked down upon. But it's like also then you want people who are fat to be super skinny, but then you skinny shame all these skinny people. So it's like you just can never win. You can never win.
Yeah.
So might as well just be yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Honestly,
I I think that's the part is like you said, it's like you can never
you
win,
can't.
and that's terrible. I
It
think
is.
it's a shitty situation to put people in
Yep.
to like, I was doing a lot of like supplements to try and gain weight and to
Wow.
try and be heavier, and I was probably the sickest I'd ever been in my life because I couldn't eat what I needed to eat,
Absolutely.
and then if I didn't take my supplements, I had like no appetite at all
Dude.
because my body was just like, nah, man.
That's so
I would put
rough.
on, yeah, like 15 pounds.
Wow.
And then by the next, maybe 2, 3 weeks, it'd be gone. And I just look leaner. I
Yeah,
don't look any bigger. I didn't gain any weight.
exactly.
And that was a terrible way to exist.
Exactly. Because you were just really trying to force your body to be something it's not.
Yeah.
And that's just not, that's just, oh, well, I'm sorry you went through that. That's rough.
Yeah. I
That's so
mean,
rough.
yeah. And that's the thing is like, I can accept it now and
Yeah.
like move past it. And I'm happier because I'm just authentically me, which
Yeah.
I'm sure you can relate to.
Exactly.
Um, so like I said, I wanted to ask this question,
Okay.
like, when did you start doing the like thrift store hunting and like, looking so
Yes.
trendy and all that.
Yes. Okay. So my thrift store hunting, I've kind of always been into the thrift stores, but I think 2 or 3 years ago, it was my goal to like thrift everything for the winter. So I was like, I am
Mm.
not going to do fast fashion anymore. I'm just going to thrift. And I think I was ready for kind of a shift in my like style as well. So I was like, okay, let's go see. Cause I was into thrifting, not as like religiously though. And then I did it and I didn't thrift for like months. And then I didn't even realize I had stopped like buying all these fast fashion, all the, like the super cheap clothing, but for just like not good quality. And everything was lasting me so long and I was not spending as much money. And I was like, what's going on? And then it's been like 2 years, 2 or 3 years since I stopped buying fast fashion. And I thrift. Well, I do thrift a lot. So I
Yeah.
literally just went thrifting before this. So I'm like, maybe I should like not thrift as much, but still, I love the reusable idea, the sustainable idea, and I'm not over consuming like I was. And I don't know. It just
Mhm.
feels good for myself.
Is it as therapeutic as like shopping and anywhere else, or is it more therapeutic because you know that at the end of it you're not going to be spending like hundreds of dollars?
Exactly. It kind of is like very therapeutic for me. And I like find everything there. I find everything there. And so it's just like, yeah, it's just my little therapy moment for sure.
I like it. I
Yes.
mean, I know there's a lot of people that like upcycle and things like
Yes.
that, but like finding clothing, especially that fits well,
Yes.
and for you, like I said, you definitely have an eye, and you're fitting like it's so like on
Wow.
point.
Thank you so
And
much.
I'm like I said, I'm tall and skinny, so I
Sure.
can never find anything that fits no matter what.
That's
So for you to be
okay.
able to
That's
find stuff
valid.
is, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
is
rough.
amazing.
Thank you. Yes.
Uh, uh, is there any like specific spots you hit up that like, or I mean, you don't have to give away your like your secret spots or
I'm
anything,
not a
but any spots that
gatekeeper.
you think are good?
I love to give. So I love to go to Savers. I grew up in Lawrence, so I never knew of Savers ever, but when I moved up to Kansas City, they have Savers everywhere and they're amazing. So Savers for sure. Honestly, Goodwill. I don't go there as often, but I mean that's everywhere. And then I will go to City Thrift. That is a good one. It's
Ah,
mostly up near Kansas City, I'm pretty sure, in like Overland Park area. But yeah, those are kind of the three I go to mostly. Savers.
I didn't know that City Thrift was like we got a donation center in Lawrence
Oh,
just recently.
really?
So like I wonder if I haven't been in there, so I'm curious
Curious.
now.
Yeah, it's a city thrift. Oh
Hmm.
my god, yeah, you should check it out. It's pretty neat. The sizing is a little curious. Like they don't put everything in sizes. It's just there, and that's why I'm like that kind of freaks me out a little bit. I'm like
Yeah,
I need it to be a little more organized, but I would say Savers for sure. My place.
yeah. Well, that's good. So one of the things that I also wanted to talk to you about,
Yes.
we're getting ready to do an episode on interracial relationships
Yes.
because I am in an interracial relationship.
Absolutely.
You also are. So
Yes.
like, what is there like that you've had to deal with? Have you had like those uncomfortable moments where people, say something stupid, or walking through the grocery store, you getting those like extra stupid looks?
So extra stupid looks for sure. I have not been with my girlfriend when anything has been said. So that's good. For some reason, like people love us. So I don't know if it's just like we're so happy or what, but like usually the feedback we get when we're together and out is like people smile at us and people will, or I mean, sometimes we'll get the double take of like the old men.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
honestly, a lot of the comments we've gotten together have been really positive. So I
that's
know it's
good.
always
That
nerve
makes me
wracking,
happy.
especially going out as like
Hmm.
a queer couple, interracial couple. It's a little nerve wracking, but I think when we have gone out, it's been very, very positive. So
That's
Yeah.
good. And that's one of those things where like I don't want to paint it as like interracial relationships are like so negative and it's always hate
No.
everywhere you go. There's positive things and there's
Yeah.
positive moments and like there's times where people are like, "Oh my gosh, like you guys are so cute
Yes.
together. You guys made like the cutest kids is what, we get."
Totally.
And I love
Yeah.
that. But at the same time, we have dealt with some stupid
Yeah.
stuff and like I said, we'll get into that on like this episode we're getting ready to do.
Yes.
But I definitely am like it makes me
Yeah.
happy to know that somebody isn't having to deal with that
Yeah.
stupidity of
Yep. The only time, or maybe, I don't know, I'll have to ask Tina too to get into it. But the only time something did happen, and I can even share that on the next time as well, it was
Mhm.
just on our first date. Something had happened. So I had to like, some people were being homophobic. So I had to like scream at them. So maybe I could share more about that because I think that's the only like negative thing that has happened when we've been out together. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to get you to like record a clip and then we'll include it so it's a follow up
Yes.
story because that's one of those things where like I said for me I've dealt with it. I didn't grow up in Kansas. I
Yeah.
didn't grow up in this area. I grew up in DC where everybody is, you know, some sort of
Yeah.
ethnicity. And it wasn't a thing to me until I moved out
Right.
here. So like, it was like, this is
Yep.
weird. And then we moved to Wyoming and it got even
Even
weirder.
weirder.
So
Oh no.
yeah, so that's the thing. But like I said, it makes me happy.
Yeah.
And you guys being in Kansas City, that seems like a pretty welcoming environment for the
Yes.
most part, where people kind of like New York, where people are just like, well, you're a person, I'm a
Yeah.
person, I'm trying to get past you, just get out of my way.
Exactly. It's more. Yep. Exactly. Everybody's just kind of doing their thing. So yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that like I think is better now than it probably was 10 years
Yeah.
ago is older people are, I think, due to TV,
Yeah.
maybe more exposed to interracial relationships, so they're less like gawky about it when they
Yes.
see you walk by.
Yep.
Um, or maybe it's like post COVID and people are just kind of like people are people, just stay away from me
Exactly.
regardless.
Like everybody just keep your distance. Like
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
so valid.
So that could be like I said, it could be
Yeah.
good. And like being in an interracial relationship, is there anything that you had to like pick up and learn? Like I know for me, there's things that I had to
Yeah.
learn to like either say, not say, or like understand that like what I was doing wasn't necessarily intended to be
Yeah.
mean. It's just something that I didn't understand could be mean. Has there been stuff that like you've been enlightened
I
about?
think I think a lot of the stuff that we talk about um I kind of already had an idea about. I think in general, there are always things between me and Tina where it's like, we both need to do better on certain things, or I need to communicate something different. Um, but I think for the most part, like we both are kind of on the same page with things because we're both kind of learning things as we
Mm-hmm.
go too, that we might not be as familiar with. But yeah, I think I don't know if there's one specific thing that I can think about right now, but maybe
That's
I'll
a
think
good
about
thing
it. I'm
though.
sure something will come up though.
That's a good
Yeah.
thing though. I mean, and like I said, we called our podcast Homes Room, school related.
Yeah.
So like we believe every day is a class and every day is a
I
learning
love it.
experience. So, it sounds like you're in line with
Yeah.
that. And, I that's to me, that's what's the most
Absolutely.
important is, treating it like I am not the best version of myself. I was the best version of myself from
Yeah.
yesterday. And today is a new version that I have to recreate and make sure is even better than
Exactly.
yesterday. So
For sure.
um, one of the things, and I 100% had never heard
Yeah.
this before until I saw, and I think this is what like made me one of your biggest
Wow.
supporters, if you want to
Oh my
call
god.
it that, is like you posted a comment and you were like, you said some, or you posted a picture, and I don't know if it was your nails or what it was, but it was like, somebody's comment was like about, uh, a nice set of dick beaters. And I was like, wait, what? That's a thing? Somebody said
Yeah.
that? Like, what?
Yes.
And I had to message you and
I
was
remember
like,
this.
hey, do yeah, like that was
Yep.
wild to me. And I like how did how explain that story, if you remember what the post was, because I don't remember what the post was. I just remember being like, I'm so mad right now.
You were like enraged when you were messaging me. You were like, how could they?
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I get this all the time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I cannot remember what the post was, but I remember my nails or something was in it because I used to get my nails done all the time. So my nails were in it, and some random ass man was like, oh, look at those dick beat. I don't know, something about how my nails and his dick or something like that. I forget what I said, but I like annihilated him in the comments. I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I
I was, oh,
I don't even remember what I said, but no, I will never back down. If there's some like misogynistic man coming for me, I will not back down. But yeah, I think I can't remember the exact details of it, but I remember you messaging me though.
yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
funny.
I was so mad.
You
And
were.
it was just like one of those things where I was like, number one, like, who even thinks to
Yes,
say that?
right?
Like, what?
Why?
Like, that's not a
Right.
thing. I had never heard that term in my
Yeah.
life, let alone seeing somebody comment on somebody else's
So
thing about. I was
freely.
like,
Like I didn't
what?
even know him.
Yeah. See, and that was the thing is, I was like, that was what you said. Is you were like, no, it's just a
Just
random
a
person. And I was
random
like,
dude.
what?
Yeah. Isn't that so
Yeah.
crazy?
And I felt really bad on behalf of all men
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
simple fact that that dummy said that in that moment, because it
Yeah,
was
I
just
get
like,
that. I get
dude.
that.
So my question is like, how do you deal with the
Yeah.
hate? You manage to keep a positive energy, like what's your
Yeah.
trick?
So I don't know. I think I feel very deeply. And so I get very like passionate about the things that I'm passionate about. Standing up for misogyny, racism, transphobia, all these things. But I genuinely care, you know what I mean? And I feel like
Hmm.
I'm gonna get very upset about those things and I'm gonna get very upset at those people. But other things in life, I'm just like, I'm just living. I'm just here. I'm gonna enjoy the little things. So
Yeah. I think that that's a good
yeah,
outlook, and you know, I I'm curious. Like you said, your family was really
yeah,
close to you. Does having a good support system of family behind you like make that
yeah.
easier? Because at the end of the day, like that's what
Yes,
matters.
yeah, absolutely. I think me and my family have not always been super close, but once me and my siblings kind of got a little bit older, we all got very, very much closer. All of us are queer,
Hmm.
all of us are trans, so it's just we really connect on these certain levels. Um, but yeah, it's just like very, very nice to like know I can go home and like talk to them about really anything and they'll understand what I'm trying to talk about.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's cool.
yeah,
I love that. I think, I grew up with all
yeah,
girls and I was the only boy, so like I didn't have anybody that I could relate to about most things, so
yeah,
it just kind of
yeah.
was. Um my sisters are still some of the like most important people
Yeah.
in my life, and no matter what they do, no matter how mad they make me, I don't think I could ever just be like, I'm
Right.
done with you, because you know we've made it through
Yeah.
some hard times together, and we've always been there to support each other no matter what the situation.
Absolutely.
And like I said, we like to talk about people's support systems on
Cool.
here, because at the end of the day, the people supporting you are the thing keeping you
Exactly.
going, because you don't want to not only like not let them down, but that like if you were to start talking bad about yourself, they're gonna be right there to be like, shut up,
Exactly.
dummy, you know
Yep.
better than that.
Exactly. Now
Yeah.
I'm glad to say I do have a girlfriend, a significant other to put into the mix. So that's always sweet.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. So question, because
Yes.
you said
Yes.
significant other. What's the like? What's the pump up speech? What kind of message do they send to you when you need to pump
I
up?
think, honestly, like, you got this. Don't worry about it. You got this sort of thing. Like, I feel like that's kind of what
Hmm.
we'll send to each other. Um, I love you. You're the best. Like I don't know.
Hmm.
We're very good about encouraging each other pretty much daily, and it's like what I
Good.
need. Like I need somebody that's gonna be there and like because have you got your down days. Everybody's got their bad moments, and
Hmm.
I feel like we are so good at balancing each other out. Like if somebody's feeling bad, we'll bring them up, and it's like I don't know. It's kind of perfect. So yes.
Good. So like I'm gonna turn it back around. What's your pump up speech? What is the like? What's your go to like that go
Okay,
to
so
moment?
my go-to is probably like, "You got this, T. I'm here for you." Like, like
Yeah,
anything, let me know. Like
yeah.
something like
I think those are the like. It sounds really silly, but like I don't remember what movie it
yeah.
was before. But there was a song and I think it's I Love a You or something. It was before a
Okay.
Disney movie. And sometimes like when we're just like, we don't have time to like
Yeah.
get into it, we'll just send each other like the
Oh,
volcano emoji, and that just means I lava you. So like it's like little stuff like that like it doesn't take
love
much. It's just like,
that.
yo,
That it doesn't take
yeah.
much, and it's like, yeah, sometimes it's like your little inside jokes or something like that, but it's just like,
Hmm.
lifts your spirits. Just thinking of each other.
Yeah. And
That's great.
yeah, that's one of those things we're looking into getting those like little vibraty bracelets. So like when you're thinking about the person, like you can just like
Oh my
press the
god,
thing because it's just like
that's the
little
cutest
stuff.
thing I've ever heard.
I can one up that one. We have like the lights that are on like our
Yeah,
Wi-Fi, so like you can control it from
yeah,
your phone. So there's random mornings like I go to
yeah.
work really early, so there's random mornings where I know she'll be awake, so I'll just like
Oh,
flicker the
oh
lights
my
off and
god,
on, and she'll be like, "Are you messing with the
it's
lights?" It's like, "Yeah, I
just
was just
thinking of
thinking of
you.
you, and I figured you
Oh
would
my
see it."
god,
Yeah,
that is amazing. That is so
yeah,
precious.
yeah. See, and it's just
Well,
stuff like
thanks.
that, and only somebody with a significant other would like
Yep.
appreciate it because everybody else out there listening would be
I'd
like,
be like, what are you
"What?
talking
That's
about? I know
stupid."
exactly.
Yeah,
No, I agree.
yeah.
That's
Like,
so sweet.
yeah. So, keep up the
Yes.
sweetness and find new ways. And I think that's another thing that like is big about life. And, body positivity doesn't stop at, you know, loving for yourself, but it's loving the people that
Yep.
love you for who you are as well, and accepting
Exactly.
that love back. And, finding new ways to love each other and to show your love is definitely an important
Yes.
thing to me. Um, so, is there anything that you've done, recently that like has helped you, recenter yourself? Like I know, you started photography for a little bit. Is there anything like that you're still doing that just like
Yes.
hobby wise to try and keep yourself like
Honestly,
level?
yes. I do like little coffee videos sometimes. I don't do them too
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
often, but like they're kind of just like very therapeutic for me to do. Um I honestly have been cooking a lot, just like making little things. Eating at home is like been very helpful for me. Just to kind of make it a little event. So that's been kind of a
Mm-hmm.
little hobby. Me and Tina, my girlfriend, we have a little couples Instagram. So that's kind of what I've been doing as well as a little bit on the side. So
I don't know if I
you
follow
should.
that.
I don't
I
post it
should.
to my main page too much. So maybe you haven't seen it yet, but I'll go follow you too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one of those things where like everybody's got to find something to keep their like their
Yeah.
mental status like level and to just release. And I will say your coffee videos were always really
Yeah.
cool to me because I could never do
OMG.
that, and I'm always like,
Thank
yeah. There was one you did like a step by step. I don't even know what it was, but it
you.
looked really
Oh,
good, and I was like, I don't even know what this is, and I don't drink coffee like that.
I love that. I need like
Yeah,
I have
so
all the
it's
things for it, and I make my coffee like every day. So I'm like, I just make the same thing. So I'm like, I need to like mix it up a little bit, make some new little videos, but it's just kind of fun. Fun little things.
hmm I'm I'm pretty like standard and like I guess
Yeah,
routine where I have like my K cup of
there
my
you go.
coffee that I like and the amount of creamer that I like in it,
You
and then
know,
I go to work, and
that's
that's
what you
it.
like.
So I appreciate the people that can do all
Yeah,
the extra stuff
it
because
is.
that's
It's
cool.
fun.
I
Yeah,
could never do it.
it is really fun.
Um, yeah. All right. So wrapping it up, moving into some
Okay.
this or that questions that are pretty. I said just
Okay.
here to have some fun. So first one we got dressed up or
Dressed
dressed
up.
down. Yeah. See, that's what I would have thought it would have been like, you're just like cool being comfortable walking around. But yeah, I also can see the dressed up because you do
Thank you so
both really
much. You're so
well.
sweet.
So, um, Uh, a nice picnic in a beautiful green field, or a chill, peaceful
I
walk
think a picnic.
downtown.
Picnic in a beautiful field.
Yeah, see, that one was the one where it was a coin
Yeah.
flip. I didn't know which way you were
Ever
gonna
since
go,
the
but I was
pandemic,
like,
I've loved
I
those picnics. So good.
yeah, I could see that. That's yeah. So a shopping spree paid for at a high-end boutique, or a weekend at a flea market event that lasts like the whole weekend.
I think the flea market. I think I gotta go with that.
Yeah,
That's more my vibe.
that's what I figured.
Yo.
That's what I figured. I would be right there with you. That's one of those things where like if it's got a story, I'd be that much more inclined to be like, I want
Exactly.
that.
I completely
So
agree. A lot more history.
no. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is, I think that going to those things, it's more
Yeah.
about the experience than the like
Exactly.
item you're buying. Like when you go to a store and there's like 15 of the
Right.
same thing on that rack, it's
Yeah.
just one of 15. When you find something at a thrift store or a flea market, it's probably the
Yes.
only one like that there. Like I have a bomber jacket that I wear all the time, and I've wanted one
Yeah.
since I was a kid, that I found
Oh,
at
I
Salvation
love that.
Army, and I was like, "Yep,
And this is gonna be
this
mine.
is mine. It's going home with me."
I
Yep,
love that.
and I love
It's
it.
amazing.
So yeah. Um, thank you
Thank you
so
so
much for
much.
joining us, and thank you for being open. Like I said, I think we're gonna have to get some clips from you about, your relationship
Yes.
to tie into this
Love
interracial
that.
relationship episode. But I might be like, hey,
Get get Tina.
get your significant other to
Yes.
join you, and we can have some
Oh my god, Tina would love it.
conversation, because
Yeah.
I would like that. Good.
Okay.
We'll have to set that up. And like I said, I can't express enough how like you were one of the like beautiful
Mm.
hearted people I've ever met. And anytime anybody has said anything negative about you, like you don't know this, but a guy that we used to work with made a negative
Really?
comment about you because he followed you on Instagram. And I was like, homie, like they're
Yeah.
happier now, right? And he responded, was like, well, I'm just saying. And I was like, well, I'm just saying, don't talk about him
Yes.
like that. Like
You're
that's
defending
my
me.
homie. And yeah. And I was like, I can't. And then I was like, yo, just stop
Yeah.
following them then. Like that's not somebody that's in your
Exactly.
life that you even need to care about. Keep your opinion to yourself. I bet you they're
Absolutely. Oh my god.
happier.
Thank you so much.
And like, yeah,
Defending my honor.
like I said, I,
You know?
yeah, to the good people, solid people are
Yeah.
rare, but like even more rare are people like you that are also trying to put back a little bit of
Thank
positivity in
you.
everything you do. And I want to support that. And I want to make sure that people keep your name
Yeah,
correct
that's right.
if they're
Keep
trying to
my
say
name
it.
out your
Cause like,
mouth,
nah,
you know?
I don't got time for it.
Can't say
Exactly.
anything about me.
Exactly. But like I
Thank you
said, thank you
so
for
much.
being here, and know that I will
Thank
always be there to support
you.
you no matter what.
Likewise, for sure. And
The bell is about to ring. If you want to drop us a voice message or simply ask a question, you can do that by clicking the link in the show notes below. Be sure to leave us a 5-star review. It helps more people find us. Theme music by Kinsey. More music available on Spotify. Remember, every day is a class. Go learn something.